I used to fall asleep counting the space between his breaths. Not because I was afraid, because it calmed me. The rise of his chest, the pause, the slow release. Predictable, safe. At night, the world narrowed to that rhythm, and the warmth of his body beside mine. I believed that meant something. I believed it meant I was protected. We had routines. Every night, he locked the doors twice. Once before brushing his teeth. Once after. He said it was habit. I said nothing. He always placed his phone face down on the nightstand. Screen dark. Notifications silent. I told myself that was respect. Privacy. Trust. He never snored. Not once in all the years we slept side by side. Sometimes I joked about it, nudging him gently. "You're not human," I'd say. He would smile, already half asleep. "Guess I'm just lucky." His smile never lingered in the dark. He always lay on his back first, arms folded loosely over his chest, like he was waiting for something. Only after I turned toward him would he shift, carefully, as if following steps he'd memorized long ago. When he wrapped an arm around me, it felt deliberate, not cold, just precise. I mistook that for thoughtfulness. Some nights, I'd wake before him and watch his face. Relaxed, empty, peaceful in a way I envied. I tried to imagine what he dreamed about, but his eyes never twitched, never moved beneath their lids. When I asked him once if he dreamed, he paused too long before answering. "Not really," he said. "Dreams are just noise." That answer stayed with me. There were small things I ignored because they were small. He never talked about his childhood unless prompted. And even then, his stories sounded like summaries, not memories. He didn't have old friends, just people he used to know. When we ran into someone from his past at the grocery store once, the man stared at him too long, brows furrowed, like he was trying to solve a puzzle. My husband smiled, polite and distant, and steered me away. At night, when the lights were off and the house settled, I felt safest. The darkness hid imperfections. The silence stitched us together. Whatever didn't make sense during the day dissolved when I pressed my back against his chest. I told myself love didn't need to be loud, or messy, or emotional. It could be quiet, controlled, rehearsed. One night, just before sleep claimed me, he whispered my name, soft, careful, like he was testing how it sounded. "Yes?" I murmured. He hesitated. "Nothing. Just making sure you're here." I smiled into the pillow, warmth blooming in my chest. I reached for his hand, lacing my fingers through his. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. He squeezed my hand once, harder than necessary, in the dark. I mistook that for reassurance. I didn't know yet that he wasn't afraid of losing me. He was afraid of being seen. And every night I slept beside him, believing I was safe. The truth lay inches away, holding its breath, waiting for the moment I'd finally wake up. Years passed without announcement. Anniversaries arrived, left, returned again. Our marriage became something people pointed to when they needed proof that stability still existed. "You're so lucky," friends said at dinners, at birthdays, at weddings that ended in quiet divorces years later. "He's calm, reliable, solid." I nodded, smiled, accepted the compliment like it belonged to both of us. We looked good together. That mattered more than I realized at the time. He never raised his voice, never slammed doors. He paid bills early, remembered appointments, brought home groceries without being asked. Peaceful marriages, I learned, are often praised not for joy, but for the absence of chaos. And we had no chaos, just silence, neatly folded into daily life. Behind closed doors, the distance grew slowly. Carefully, like something intentional, our conversations shortened, our laughter thinned. He listened when I spoke, but his eyes drifted, as if he was monitoring something behind me, something I couldn't see. When I reached for him emotionally, he met me with logic, solutions, calm explanations that left no room for feelings. I adapted. When something felt off, I swallowed it. When questions surfaced, I buried them beneath routine. Instinct became an inconvenience. I told myself love required compromise, and compromise often meant letting go of curiosity. He liked structure. Dinner at the same time, sleep at the same hour, weekends planned days in advance. I called it stability. He called it efficiency. When I disrupted it or arrived home late, changed plans suddenly, he didn't get angry. He got quiet, watchful. That silence trained me faster than anger ever could. Friends asked how we made it work. I gave rehearsed answers. Communication, trust, mutual respect. I didn't mention how often I felt like a guest in my own marriage, careful not to move furniture that had been arranged before I arrived at night. Lying beside him, I tried to name what I felt. Loneliness wasn't right. Fear seemed dramatic. Discomfort came closest. But even that felt like a betrayal of the life we'd built. So I chose gratitude instead. Gratitude is useful. It silences doubt. He noticed when I pulled away, but never asked why. Instead, he became more attentive, more helpful, as if responding to a checklist only he could see. Flowers without reason, compliments delivered at precise moments. Enough to keep me steady, enough to keep me quiet. Sometimes, I caught my reflection in mirrors and windows and wondered when I'd learned to measure peace by how little I felt. But those thoughts passed. I had a good marriage. People reminded me constantly, and I believed them. Until one afternoon, standing alone in our house, I realized I couldn't remember the last time I'd felt truly known. The thought arrived uninvited, unsettling and sharp. I didn't question it yet. I just felt it settle, waiting. That was when I started noticing the gaps, the pauses in his stories, the way memories stopped short, like pages torn out. I told myself every marriage had blind spots. I didn't know yet that blind spots were where the truth waited. It always does. In silence, waiting patiently.